All right, y'all. Your Intrepid Songwriter here, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter. Because seriously, who does that? Nobody does that. Nobody tells you what it's really like out here being a songwriter. Got the mic where it's supposed to be. Oh. There we go. Okay. Where it's supposed to be. But nobody tells you what a songwriter's life is really like. And you have to wait until you see somebody famous go through something to find out what's really going on. Okay? What's really going on behind the scenes. Normally doesn't happen until somebody famous goes through something, and then you get some kind of semblance of what's happening. You get some kind of semblance of the truth. I don't understand why this thing waits until I go live to decide it don't want to hang in place. Don't understand that. But anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to talk about this Instagram story that we saw about TLC, and I'm going to kind of break it down to you to explain to you what's going on. So on Insta, you're just going to have to listen to what I'm doing. I'm actually going to put the Instagram story itself on the screen on YouTube. So whatever you can't see on Instagram, you'll hear it. But if you want to see it, then I'll also put the link below when I get through broadcasting so you can check out the story for yourself. But if you want to see it while I'm talking, then go watch this on YouTube while I'm broadcasting this live. Okay? So here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay, now there's some language in this, so just fair warning, there's some language. But I want to talk about the story because I want you to understand exactly what's going on here. Okay, all right. So I may have to play it more than once through, but here we go.
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Because, wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
With bullets?
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF money's at.
So, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we're going to get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We're going to drive up there. We're going to take the guns. And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail.
Yes.
Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage. And Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Puffy, mind your damn business. Okay, go ahead, Sugar.
Oh, my God. But it was rude. We interrupted Puffy's meeting, you know, and he was having a meeting. And Puff was like, I'm sorry, but we really got to handle this, dog. We need to know where this money at. You know, because we were getting sick and sweating and, you know, we was like really working hard for this money. Yes. And we wanted to know who the hell had our check. The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Because, wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
With bullets?
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece.
Okay, now let's listen to what T-Boz said. She said TLC had generated $75 million on Crazy Sexy Cool. Okay, that's gross sales, that's gross album sales, $75 million. And she said that they got 50 G's a piece. So they got a total of $150,000 to split three ways between the three of them. Now, $75 million, 10% of $75 million would be $7.5 million. Okay? So they didn't get that. They didn't get 10%. They got 0.002 or 0.22% if they got $150,000. So how do we get there? And this is what all young artists coming up need to understand. We got there because when you sign the contract, that's the deal you agree to. You agree that the lion's share of the revenue generated by your music sales, and we're not talking about 360-degree deals. I'll make another video explaining what 360 deals are and how they really work. But last century, old school, we're talking about old school record contracts. When you sign the contract, when you get signed to a label, if you get signed to a $2 million deal, that does not mean that you get $2 million. So many times people are saying, I got signed to I got $1 million record deal, I got a $2 million record deal. That does not mean that you get $2 million. What that means is that that's the total amount of money they're going to spend on you as an artist on this project to try to blow it up. A $2 million record deal means that $2 million is the maximum amount of money that they're going to spend on you as an artist to blow this project up, to make it successful. And also in that contract, they have something that says all of the expenses that they incur are recoupable. Recoupable is the key word. And what that means is that every piece of money that they spend on you, every dime that they spend on you to blow you up, you have to pay it back. So it's not a grant. It's not a grant, okay? It's just a glorified loan. So if they give you advance money and money that you have to live off of before the record starts making money, whatever they give you, if they fly you somewhere, if you have a fancy dinner, if you have to stay in a fancy hotel, it doesn't matter what the expense is, they will say it's recoupable, which means you have to pay it back. Okay? That also means you have to pay it back out of your cut of the money from the record sales. Okay? So the contract already says that they're going to keep somewhere in the 90 percentile range, 90%, 92%, 95%, 98% of the money from the gross sales. That is theirs. And then the 2%, or in this case, the 0.002 or 0.2% that's left, you as the artist get, but you get paid last. So always remember that with record labels, the rule is they eat first. So they take their money out of those gross sales, and then they give you what's left over after that. But then you have to start to pay back all the money they spent on you out of that 0.002 or 0.2% that you got. So in other words, you don't even get to keep that. That goes towards paying back your recoupable expenses. So that's how you get from a place where you can generate $75 million in gross sales, but you only get $150,000 of that to split 3 ways between your group. The contract you signed was set up and it said that. It said that in the contract that they were going to keep upwards of 90% of the gross revenues, and whatever little percentage they broke you off is what you get. But you still had to pay them back. And the payback doesn't come from the gross revenues. It doesn't come from their portion of the money. The payback comes from your portion of the money, which means even that 0.002 that you get is going to have to go towards paying back all the money they spent on you to blow you up. So if they grossed $75 million in sales, the $2 million they spent to blow you up does not come out of that money. The $2 million they spent to blow you up comes out of the 0.002 that you got from that money. So you have to pay it back out of your earnings. So you say, how can such contracts be allowed to exist? How can such things even go on? I'll tell you how. Because there is no FDA for the music industry. There is no FDA. There is no government agency. The FDA stands for the Food and Drug Administration. So when a company wants to put a new drug on the market, the fact that they have to do testing and the fact that they have to tell you, if there are side effects, all that comes from the FDA. And if something goes wrong, then you can file a lawsuit. If something goes wrong, you can complain to the FDA. When Elizabeth Holmes was going through that whole thing with Theranos, and she had some whistleblowers, they complained to the government because you complain to the government agencies that monitor your industry to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And with the medical field, in terms of testing, in terms of making sure that the processes work, in terms of making sure you've done sufficient testing to see how it impacts people. Okay, you can complain. If there's a manufacturing plant and it's giving off toxic fumes, and those fumes are going into the air, and those fumes are getting into the water, and near them there's a playground, and so that water becomes toxic, that ground becomes toxic, and the kids that play on the playground equipment get cancer, you can sue. You can go to the EPA, which stands for the Environmental Protection Agency, and say, we believe this company's toxic waste has caused cancerous conditions in our children. Okay? There is no FDA, there is no EPA for music. If you sign a bad contract, you are on your own. There is no government agency for you to whistleblow to. There's no government agency for you to appeal to. Then you say, if that's the case, why do people sign it? They sign it because, number one, nobody explains this to you when you're signing the contract, which is why I recommend to everyone that you get an attorney before you sign any deal with a publisher, any deal with a record label. You get an attorney to go over the contract with you and explain to you what it means. Because in the case of TLC, it meant that upwards of 98% of the gross revenues go to the label. And in their case, they got paid 0.2%. Okay, not 2%, 0.2% was their portion. And they still had to pay their advance money back out of that. You need a music attorney to explain to you what that means before you sign, so that you understand that the deal you're signing is always slanted in their favor. That's number one. Number two, if anything goes wrong, if you don't like, once you see, like TLC saw, like the clip I just played, once you see how much money you generated for them, and once you see how little of that you got, if you don't like that, you have to sue them directly. There's no government agency that you can go to appeal to unjustness and unfairness, and they're going to respond by saying, you signed the contract, which is correct. You did sign the contract. You just didn't understand what you were signing. Okay? So, and the next point as to why people would do something like that is because people love fame. People love the idea of fame. They love the idea of being famous. They love the idea of getting on stage, everybody's screaming your name, everybody's singing your lyrics, everybody's waving their phones, everybody's paying attention to you, the paparazzi are following you, blah, 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 blah. So you go from obscurity to fame. You go from nobody knows who you are to everybody knows who you are. I stopped by to tell you that is a drug, especially when you're still really young. That's a drug, and it's a drug that if you get hooked on, they use it to get you into such a poor contract because it's all in their favor. So as I tell everybody that listens to me, clients alike, hire yourself a music attorney, or you can hire me. I've gone over contracts with my clients as well. Attorneys are going to cost you $300 to $400 an hour. I don't charge that much, but I'll give you the same information. I'll tell you what every part of the contract means. Because once you sign that contract, there's no government agency for you to appeal to, and you just signed away 98% of the gross sales. It's indentured servitude. You will be out there working for them. And whatever money they spent to make you famous, to blow you up, to get that record or that project out there, you have to pay it back. And you have to pay it back out of your portion. It doesn't come out of their portion. Most people, when they sign up, I'm just in the process of having all the contracts with my business ready. That's right. Because most people, when they sign up, they don't understand that that's what they're doing. Okay? So if you don't want to spend the money or the time to hire me as a music consultant or hire a music attorney, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to pay that money up front, then you got to pay that money on the back end. When you see how much money you're generating and how much of that money you get to keep. We're the only industry, to my knowledge, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I'm talking about entertainment in general. We're the only industry that I'm aware of where you can be the face of the thing, you can be the draw, you can be the thing that's making that level of money, and you get paid last, and you get the least amount of it. There's no other industry that I'm aware of besides entertainment where that's the case. You're the face, you're the voice, you're the sound, you're the energy, you're the magnetism, you're the charisma, you're the star, you're the artist, and people are paying money to see you. But as the artist, you get paid last and you get paid the least. There's no other industry I'm aware of where that's the case. So that's why you can learn how to pay up front. Hire me as a music consultant and I'll go over the contracts with you, or hire a music attorney at $300 or $400 an hour. They'll go over the contracts with you before you sign so you understand what it is that you're signing. If you don't do that, then you're going to pay on the back end. Once you see the money start coming in and once you see how little of it you get, and once you see that all that you owe them is going to come out of your share, not theirs. Okay? So that's my video for today. I want everybody to pay attention, take heed. Don't wait until you get into a situation like TLC where you see all that money coming in and you get tenths of pennies of it. And there's no government agency for you to complain to. That is the contract that you signed. All right. So I will see you next Friday at noon for the next live video. Okay. Remember, Intrepid Songwriter is coming on here trying to tell you stuff that I wish they told me when I first started out, and trying to tell you stuff to keep you out of those situations. Watch the other videos on my channel. Watch the video where I talk about why Taylor Swift decided to re-record all of her songs, about why she doesn't own her masters, what that means, because a lot of people don't understand what owning your masters means, that kind of thing. A lot of people don't understand. So I got all kinds of videos on my channel so you can get the education that you need to be sure that you don't spend the next 10 years working, but you don't get paid. All right? I'll see you same time next week. Intrepid Songwriter, out.